Hello, friends, and welcome to Talking with Fat People. My name is host Eric. I'm the host of Talking with Fat People, and I'm here to tell you today how to make anyone love you. Anyone. How do you make anybody love you? Starts with one of these. You gotta put one of these. Okay, that's a heart symbol. But beyond that, I titled this video "How to Make Anyone Love You" because in my recommended videos was a video of that name, "How to Make Anyone Love You." And I thought as I saw the title, it probably varies from type to type as to how to make them love you. It's not like everybody's responsive to the same thing. It is true that in general, flattery does get you somewhere. When people say flattery will get you nowhere, they're probably lying or wrong, one of the two. Flattery generally does get you somewhere. Another thing that makes people feel positively towards you is asking about them, like asking questions about stuff they're interested in. And, a third thing is in a kind of an egalitarian frame, I guess. Like, people like to be treated as equals, no matter who you are or what you got going on. People don't like to have you convey in your tone, your words, or otherwise that you think you're better than them, right? Everybody hates that. That's called being snobby, I guess. Isaiah Root has some questionable strategies. Well, they're not questionable strategies. They're unquestioned strategies, but they're questionably effective. That's not totally shocking. Effectiveness is the least important part of any strategy. For sure. Interestingness being number one. Topicality being number two. A lot of other things before you get to effectiveness is mattering. Effectiveness. That sounds like censor garbage to me. Censor garbage. How to make anyone love you, lure them into your van. I'm pretty sure that doesn't make them love you. I think that just makes them victimized by you. No, the proper answer is love. How to make somebody love you? You love them, okay? Love them. Love them with your heart, and they will love you back. But really love them. Into their intuition, that's not a bad idea. Intuit how much tuition they paid for their intuition. Obviously, I'm no expert on how to make anyone love you, because if I were an expert on it, then everybody would love me, and that's not the case. Of course, the title is "How to Make Anyone Love You," not everyone. Presumably, there's some people you don't want to love you. You'd rather they dislike you, or you don't care, I guess. Well, I do want to share a bit of important good news with everybody. Pretty important. I'm going to share it shortly. Back this bong rip, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You love when people love you, but do you love people? And do you love loving people? The answer is no, you don't. And what is the secret to making anyone love you? Well, you've got to pretty much touch their wiener, I think, is the number one rule. Make sure to touch their wiener. That helps. It doesn't hurt, certainly. Not just once or twice. It's gonna be gonna take some serious wiener tending. Okay. Yeah, be loving yourself. Sure. I think that in general, if you had to come up with something that was fairly universal, it's that people like to be heard and listened to, and respected. Well, one piece of good news is that I got new propane for my torch. And lawnmower, you are getting this transubstantiated bong rib. As per the Catholic priest who transubstantiated the body and blood of Christ, here I transubstantiate the bong rib to your mind. I transubstantiate thee. Well, I mean, the good news, the first piece of good news was I got a new propane for my thing. The second piece of good news is I finished and uploaded a song called 30,000 Days. Now, why is it called I Know You're Not, but that's where the idea of transubstantiation comes from. Okay, they don't use a blowtorch, though. That's the big difference. Even an INFJ who loves and hates you simultaneously, I don't think NFJs in general love and hate you simultaneously. I think they typically are underwhelmed by the failures of others, let's say. I find your pedestrian lack of subtextual nuance demoralizing. That's the gist of the NFJ's position. Being heard, being listened to, respected, yeah. Of course, that's from my perspective as an NE Dom. Being heard and being listened to are the top of the list of things that matter, you know. If you want to make me like you, then probably you're going to be doing some listening, I guess. But I can listen too. And certainly is the case that, you know, when I'm attending to how other people are feeling and whether or not they're, you know, when I'm attending to FE shit, then I can be a lot more FE valid, I guess you could say, by simply interfacing more and action deliberating less. Interfacing more, you're paying attention to the people. Acting, deliberating, you're paying attention to the objects. So for me, because my interface functions FE, obviously if your interface functions TE, it doesn't work like that. Well, the problem with an NI DOM is the mirror image of the SI tool function almost. Instead of never getting right the determinate thing, all right, well, you know, he's got an NI holistic understanding or something. And frustrating, I'm sure. How do I like your new pic? Looks like some sort of blue guy with Princess Leia buns and a goatee. It's hard to see. It's very small, you know. I can't believe I'm almost out of weed. Sucks ass. How did I run out of weed so fast? I smoked this half ounce in like 2 days, 3 days. I don't know. It didn't take It didn't take us a long time to burn through this half ounce of weed. That's for sure. Mouse in a mask. It's not anything crazy. So, yeah, it's kind of a little frustrating this month. I'm feeling pretty tapped out financially, and it's only the 15th, you know. But I need to go get one read tomorrow, so it's going to tab me further. And whatever. You know, not like I'm going to starve or not be able to get any weed or cigarettes or something. That's the same thing as starving. If you're unable to get cigarettes, you might as well be starving. Might as well just like, there's no food anywhere in the city. Next to there's all this civil unrest. Okay, so I was about to pull the bowl, and then I took it out. Thought maybe I should save it for later or something. But then I thought, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we can do. Tonight, Rich and I enjoyed the fine film Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which features, among other classic lines, strange things are afoot at the Circle K. A great line. And when he's talking about ancient Greece and his history project thing at the end. I have been there. I've seen it. There are columns and steps. It is very tranquil. most tranquil. Yeah, they still do exist, for sure. You have a solution for the Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter? The BLM should be changed their title to Black Lives Matter 2. I mean, that would be better, but I mean, instead of focusing on the wrong end of it, why don't we just call it police reform is necessary? How about that? Police reform is long overdue. It would be a proper name for their organization. Use of violence by the police is overboard. Police lives have an uncanny habit of ending other lives. Should we do something about that, maybe? That would be a good name for your organization. Kind of long. I mean, black is a color that modifies a lot of things. There's an adjective that can modify a lot of things, but lives is not one of them. Honor the media. Oh my God. Do you constantly have to be such a tool? The police aren't dangerous. They're historically oppressed by the system, so they rebel. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. That's pretty funny, though. If you've suffered as much, stereotyping and bullshit in the media as the police have, you'd want to riot too. Obviously. Except, of course, Swift Eagle runners in the classic all uphill race. They only run uphill. Seattle Chop. I don't know what Seattle Chop is. There was a spider on me, but I kicked it off. There's a black militia that claimed a mountain in Georgia where they don't even allow browns. How black do you have to be? I mean, if I'm black, I'm 100% black. No, I've talked other EST females, but both online and in real life. They're not super common, but they do occur, and they're reasonably likely to be interested in their personality type, cognitive function stuff, because ESTPs are one of those kind of bridge types between the abstract people and the concrete people. I gotta get some paper towels. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back already. Why? Because I didn't have to go really very far. Two people got killed by non-cops. Media all go, boring. It's only fun when cops do it. Oh, got a hot tip. The police ruthlessly murdered a man trying to surrender in cold blood. Really? What was the black gentleman's name? Oh, he was white, actually. Oh, we're not interested in that story then. That story's boring. We're looking to see cops killing black people, please. That's what we want to advertise on our news media here. We want to really whip up a frenzy of outrage over that specifically. The problem in general in life is that be nice, sigh loudly, hope they get the hint. Not really. Maybe I should a little bit more. Is ESTP male and ISFJ female risk possessor? No, it should be their proper relationship. I mean, in my opinion, it's the proper duality for perceivers is to be with the same S or N. Whereas with judgers, I think you're with the opposite. ESTP INFJ, in my opinion, about what the best kind of duality is, ESTP and INFJ is not as good as ESTP ISFJ, and it's not as good as ENTP INFJ. But if it were ISTP, different story. ISTP, ENFJ, yes. And the reason is because ISTP is metaphysical first, and so is ENFJ. Whereas an ESTP and ISFJ, metaphysical first. I mean, physical first, physical first. ENTP, INFJ, metaphysical first, metaphysical first. So that's why. That Glee star girl's death doesn't add up very fishy. What I heard was she drowned and she saved her child in the process or something. That sounds very fishy. Like, how do you manage to successfully save your child but not get yourself out of the water? You know? How does that happen? I mean, I didn't think about it being very fishy, but I agree now that you mention it. But why do you like? So what do you think? What do you think they're covering up? Murder? Yeah, I mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, ISFJs are not satisfied with words. They want real action consistently, you know? They want a lot of follow through and stuff. I do think that more overly rational and young ENTPs should probably be with ISFJs, though. Well, I mean, it's just, ISFJs are fine. It's not a bad relationship stack-wise. It's just that, you know, at the end of the day, the sensor kind of can't help but perceive the ENTP as mostly wasting their time unless they're doing stuff that the ISFJ validates as significant. And that's tough for the ENTP because we don't want to see our creativity and such, our creative produce, as a waste of time or frivolous. We'd like to have it taken, you know, be seen as a worthwhile endeavor for whatever reason. So that's part of the problem with ISFJs. You know, in some sense, they're going to try to ground. They're going to ground the ENTP, presumably make them more direct their ideation more purposefully, presumably in theory. But the problem is the ENTP doesn't like where they get their ideation directed by ISFJ. Isn't really interested in directing in that direction. And ISFJs, ultimately, they aren't really interested in the kind of ideation that ENTPs do, even though it might seem appealing at first. Are ISFJs weirdly goal-oriented? Well, they're weirdly judgery for SI DOMs. They have a bunch of sort of, I guess, arbitrary standards in their heads for ways in which they count success or failure, but so in that sense, it's like avoiding failure is the frame, really, not so much goal orientation. But yeah, they have a bunch of standards and criteria in their life that they compare what's happening against and say, I knew this was going to happen, or whatever, you know. This is exactly what I wanted to avoid. So it's kind of the negative space version of being goal oriented. It's ISFJs are, their goal is, I'm the fullback in the soccer game, and my goal is for the other team to score against somebody else. Like, you know, score on us, fine, but score on us by beating the other fullback. Don't beat me. That's the ISFJ's approach, basically. Ever heard of the channel MC Support? Yeah, I've heard of it. Sound like Maurice Lamau. I can hear him saying, I knew that was going to happen. Yeah. And it's like, and what they really mean when they say that is, I felt uncertain going into this thing. I felt anxious about it going in because I didn't have enough certainty of knowledge. And so because I lacked enough certainty of knowledge, I'm going to position it as, after the fact, when something goes wrong, I knew that was going to happen. No, you didn't know that was going to happen. The problem was at the time you didn't know what was going to happen. And so then when it doesn't go well, or something doesn't go right or something, then you say after the fact, see, I knew this was going to happen. What you really mean is, because I didn't know what was going to happen, I knew something bad was going to happen. But that's just ISFJs. They're fun. I like them. They're something about them makes you just want to pinch their cheek. Oh, you. So ENFP male and INTJ female would work correct, and that's according to my theory on things. There, ISTJs are meant to be with ESFPs, and that makes some sense. I may have type fleeced them one time. I think a couple of them are, maybe, if I'm thinking about the right thing. Are they still making videos? I see Cameron. Cameron's got an ESFP girlfriend. I could never put up with her bullshit for 5 seconds. Never in a million years. But it seems to go with the flow and, slides off of him and man. I haven't seen him in a while. How's he doing? Fine. I see him occasionally. Not been that long. Been like a week maybe or something at most. So I'm going to share with you this song. Or I'll play it as well. I published this song now. It's done. 30,000 days. Too many expectations. Not even worth a damn. 30,000 nights. To sleep off the intoxication. Otherwise, we won't escape the plan. I wasted half. There's the link to it. It's published now. Thank you, Andy. But you can tell me my priorities. Is there anybody who's the key? 'Cause I'm tired of doing it wrong. What direction and have all along. Wait until I know. Or is that just hesitation? Clarity's no good once your chance is gone. What I need to show is it's so below my station. I'm tired of doing it wrong. I wasted half my day trying on others' ways, looking for my priorities. Is there anybody knows the key? 'Cause I think I'm doing this wrong. 'Cause I think I'm doing this wrong. Doing this wrong. Yeah, it's never been the case where I typed somebody that TI down who was slow in their response and didn't seem to grasp the concept of conditional logic. No, never in a million years would anybody who actually had any trouble grasping the concept of conditional logic be typed as a TI down by me. Never in a million years. So, I mean, it is true that somebody with SI on the backside of the stack might ask for a repetition of something as to hear something again. But maybe not. I mean, if you pay attention to that ISTP girl, I mean, you can't see that video because they took it down, but that ISTP girl, 17 years old, but just pow, yeah, possibly. I don't know. The other thing is, Ethan, you got to try to bring as much skepticism as you can to your own arguments here, because they're being driven by a, but you're highly subject to confirmation bias. Did I do all the overdubs myself? Yeah, I did everything myself. I mean, I'm not sure what you mean by overdubs. I recorded all the guitar, bass, vocals, and did all the editing and stuff. And no, see, that's the thing, Ethan McDonald. Skepticism is not an endless amount of negation. it's applying the proper amount of scrutiny to a question to determine whether or not skepticism is appropriate. You seem to spend a disproportionate amount of time arguing against the most obvious conclusion. Instead of pew pew pew, it's fi 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 fi. So yeah, I got the drum beat from YouTube actually, Frank Mathaus, but I edited it, not a ton. It's like the main drum part is basically the drum part I got, but I drop stuff out here and there, and if it looks like if you look at the workflow, so to speak, it does look like this. So hopefully you can see that. On top is vocals, bottom is vocals. The drums are above the bottom vocals. It takes a lot of work because you got to go in and edit basically every single note, to get it to sound good. You got to come in here and make sure these are the right length, and these are the same length. The guitar notes are the same length as the bass notes. So this note's a little short, but whatever. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. But that's the kind of labor-intensive thing that one must do if one wishes to get it to sound pretty good. Now, I'm very happy with I think I'm very happy with the mix and master on this. Like, Ethan, I don't remember. I don't care. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Yeah, it can be a lot of work, but the thing is, I'm super fast with the app. Like, I worked with it for such a long time. I'm so it's so second nature to me to how to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish. So, in that regard, it goes relatively quickly, but I like the way that this mix and master came out. The vocals sound good. It's hard to get vocals to sound good in general. Somebody came in here one time and just kind of being a little bit of a hater, I think, talked to me about, basically said, as a way of kind of dissing me, was saying, yeah, vocals are really hard to record. And I was like, fuck you, But ever since he said that, I've been thinking about it more and more. And he's right, of course, vocals are very hard to record, but I'm getting, that's a good sort of impact of probably hatery feedback. Could have been legit. I mean, it was an area to note, but I got the feeling that the person was feeling competitive, which is understandable. I mean, that happens. I do too. Does Audacity support external plugins? Yes, it's got a couple different kinds of plugins that it supports. So, it's got effects that can run concurrently with the multi-track playing, and it's got effects that you can only preview. It's got two kinds of effects. So, like, for example, if you want to put reverb on a track, you've got to preview listen to the track, the part, let's say it's guitar, right? I can preview 5 seconds listening to that with reverb on it, but I can't play the whole thing and have it all mixed together, but with the reverb on the guitar track. I have to print the effect, and then if I don't like it, listen to it, I'll undo and Frank Mathaus, thank you. That's so kind of you to say. I mean, music is long been the most important thing to me, but I struggle like everybody. It's hard to make good things, and I'm frequently enough not very happy with the things I produce. But I think, happy with this one. I can't ever quite tell until I've lived with it for a few days. But I do believe this one is well mixed and mastered. You can hear everything really well. You can hear the guitar well. You can hear the bass well. You can hear the drums well. You can hear the vocals well. And I think it's an intelligently written song. It's straightforward mostly, and but it's got some things that make it unusual. But there's nothing about it that's trying to be weird, which is an important thing for me to try to keep in mind when making things. It's like, it's going to be weird anyway. You don't need to put any extra effort into that. If I recall correctly, you got several of them wrong, right? I'm pretty sure you did. I mean, I don't always tell people when they get things wrong. You know, they give me an answer, I say okay, and then go on to the next thing. I don't necessarily tell them if they got it wrong or right. If they got it right, I usually say that's right. But if I don't say anything, then there's a decent chance I got it wrong. So quickness is one vector, but correctness is another vector. It's like, I type 200 words a minute. How many mistakes? Nothing but mistakes. Nothing but mistakes, but I type 200 words per minute. Just a bunch of random letters. I agree with Annie when she says creative endeavor is the most important thing a person can do in life. I also note, Annie, that's something I always had a lot of faith in, but that faith is kind of starting to waver a bit. Maybe for the first time really in my life. It's sort of an NI realization, I guess, that it does me no good to make things. It only does me good to like, power out some super genius. Yeah, that's the only thing that's worth accomplishing. Anything less than that is just, it's like one of those commons in Magic the Gathering. You might have to throw it away. Dog INFPs are rare, probably. That's a good suggestion, Annie H. And in fact, I am consuming, since I've been with Rachel, I've been consuming way more media than I ever did prior. Than I was doing prior. Rachel likes to watch movies and stuff. We watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure today. I like watching movies with Rachel. I don't really probably watch that many movies myself, but occasionally I will. Anyhow, and yeah, it does provide more ideational fodder to work with. That's true, and it is a good general motivator. But my problem is that I'm not lacking in motivation to make something. I'm lacking in clarity of decision and discipline to work on the right thing in the right way. So I'm proud of myself with that song. I feel like I did work on the right thing in the right way. And I think it came out pretty good, but we'll have to wait and see how I feel in a couple of days. Regardless, initial feedback to it seems positive, which is nice. But I try to have kind of SI metrics for that kind of stuff, like listening to it. I'm very aware of all of my previous songs and like where they fall short in any way. So I hate how that song doesn't have enough bottom end in it. Oh, I don't like how that song has the vocals all too affected. And when I keep in mind all those things that I'm trying to avoid doing again, I'm trying to avoid doing wrong again, and I just try to keep in mind additionally the basic rule that, you know, let the song do what it's going to do as it naturally does it. You don't need to dress it up in Elton John clothes to have it be successful. Again, with your conditionality, he said, you don't need to tell me that you would have to ask other people to confirm my initial assessment. Go ask them if you want to. I mean, it's up to you whether you want to agree with me, disagree with me, withhold judgment because you don't like the answer, or just because you think it's not justified adequately. What I'm saying is, if I'm right in your TI 6 slot, you're more FI than you are TI. And so you're going to be drawn towards arguments that align with the position you'd like to be. But whatever, I don't care. Eric, check out some vids on how to hack flow states. It might help. Sometimes these things go in cycles. Might not hurt. I mean, I pretty much know how to hack them. I hack my flow states by taking a bunch of Adderall. But if I were smarter about managing it, I would do it a little bit differently. Okay, well, if you'd like to take a disinterested calculus on the matter, then I don't know. You use weed for art, it helps. Well, me too, sort of, in the sense that weed gets me to settle down and focus on something instead of bouncing between things. Helps a little bit with that. So it can get me started on something that I'm dragging my feet about. I've got a lot of projects that are in some various stages of doneness or undoneness, or from concept to almost completely done. I've got a couple of songs that are very close to being done, but little problems in them make me delay finishing them. And then I'm kind of bored with them though at that point. And so then I move on to something else. And do I ever go back and do that last little stage? Like I've got some that I'm not very happy with the mastering of it. Other than that, it's done. And that's it's a pretty minor quibble. I'm actually pretty happy with the mastering. I just don't have a video for it also. That's the other. Sometimes I'm waiting to make a video. With that song, I just put the lyrics and the chords because I didn't. It's like, I have to make a choice. Am I going to put a lot of time into a video or not? Am I going to put a medium amount of time into a video, a little, kind of medium-ish? Then I would make captions that go along with the music, right? But, and I probably should put more energy into the music videos, which I'm going to watch a lot more often than I do any talking video ever. But even so, it's just a matter of what to prioritize, Weed does not help expand your mind. It gets you high. There's a big difference between expanding your mind and getting high. If anything, it doesn't expand your mind, it contracts your mind. And what I mean by that is for me anyway, when I smoke weed, I'm less all over the place, able to better constrain my attention towards one matter, because I think in a normal state of being, I'm pretty scattered. I developed these habits as a little kid. I see my ENTP debater Jeffrey do the same thing, which is this habit of giving things half of your attention while concurrently thinking about other things, and especially when you're listening and sort of picking up the gist of it. So I don't get couch potato at all. I don't get rowdy either. I just I go from somewhat more restless to somewhat less restless, I guess. It's a fairly minor impact. But Rachel went to go buy a magazine today at the Rite Aid, and they didn't have Cosmo. And so I don't know if you're familiar with Cosmopolitan magazine. Is everybody familiar with Cosmopolitan magazine? It's the magazine that tells us each month about 10 exciting tips to please your man in bed. Okay. So what apparently happened is they ran out of tips. Like the last one of those, the last edition of that magazine, had 10 tips you'd never expect about how to please your man in bed. And like number 10 was stick a toothpick in your ear. It's like they're really running low on ideas. Number 5 was like touch a potato. I was like, what? Come on, you guys are really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. But I guess there's only so many tips you can come up with before you start running out of tips. Yeah, Rachel tried to get Cosmopolitan magazine, but they didn't have it. So I made that joke in the car about them scraping the bottom of the sexual tips barrel. Hey, look, it's Marge. We were just talking shit about you earlier. Well, Isaiah was. A little bit. He was just making fun of your SI Dom. You think there's some better ones? Oh, good for you, Gunner. What is this, a joke competition? Rub a cheese grater on your man's feet. That sounds painful. That doesn't sound very erotic. Like a good one would be erotically gesture around the room. It's just, as a way to set the mood. It's like background music, but for the visual spectrum. Suggestively gesticulate. Tips from Cosmopolitan magazine. After years and years of printing tips, they were just running really low. Compliment your man on his back. I really like your back. Oh yeah? What do you like about it? You stand up straight. It's the opposite of your front. Ballet erotically. I'm gonna go with jazz tap instead. Do a jazz tap routine. Get a hat and a cane and tails and do a old school tap dance routine for your mates. That's good advice. That's how those people are gonna stay together. People who tap for each other together stay together. Well established. Complimented eyebrow of your choice. Sounds a little complicated. I was going to say, paint landscapes that are suggestive of genitalia in some fashion, like Penis Mountain, Vagina Gorge, Well, we went and visited the national park. We saw Penis Mountain and Vagina Gorge, and we sat there in our chairs, and our umbrella, and our easels, and our canvases, and we painted our hearts out. And afterwards, we rolled in the tall grass and made love. It was beautiful. Number 3, show your mate a bunch of ants. Hey, honey, come here. What? See all these ants in the kitchen? Yeah, what are they coming after? We're not like we're leaving food out. It's the water. They're thirsty, I guess. It's making me horny. Nothing makes me hornier than the thought of ants drinking water. It's like, oh, look at those little guys. Look at them drink. It's so exciting. Number 2 is make a disparaging comment about your partner's robe. That robe is really grimy, dude. You take that shit off. Ooh la la. Disparage your partner's robe. Number 2. Or ways to turn on people who've gone through all of the other Cosmopolitan tips. Because obviously, if you're a regular reader of Cosmo, you get the January edition of Cosmo, and you attempt each of the 10 tips. It's like, every third day you do a tip, and the month's up. You've really enjoyed your exciting sex life. I love it. On herself, absolutely. I think that's got to be like number 9, maybe. Maybe number 8. Bring a dry loaf of sourdough bread to the bedroom to spice things up. It's got some ridiculous caption, like, shows the picture. Cosmo's got those pictures of like the man and the lady, both in like gauzy white clothes, and they're like getting into bed together. Except in this picture, it's got this totally stale baguette of sourdough bread. It's broken in half. There's crumbs on the bed. And the caption says, "You won't kick him out of bed for eating crackers with this tip." Those are good tips, everybody. I appreciate your contribution there on yourself. It's a good idea. Yeah. So, get tattoos of each other's parents. It's a great idea. Yeah. I gotta get a tattoo of Rachel's mom right in the middle of my chest. Just a big old Rachel's mom's face. So that when I'm fucking her, she sees me and her mom just having our collective way with her, I Alpha Cipher. Great idea, Gunner. Great idea. And like in Gothic Mexican scripts, keeping it in the family. So yeah, we have just about finished writing Cosmo's next month's 10 tips, but with a hard mortar. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, you want to get that kind of like old English lettering that the Mexicans like to use. It says Rachel's mom's got it going on. Is that how you make a woman feel acknowledged, Lenore? I acknowledge you. Okay. Well, what are we doing? We're going to have what I like to call a respect party. This is how I'm going to make sure you understand that I respect you a lot. Don't you feel well respected? You feel the respect all over your face. I hope so. Yeah, it's a real self-esteem booster. One of the tips in Cosmo's 10 tips this month should be something like insert his penis into your vagina. It's like there's really not that much stuff involved in sex. There's not that many things to do, you know? So why they'd have month after month, tip after tip after tip, wow. I mean, they're obviously thinking about it too much. Tracy's mom has got it going on. I'm glad to hear that, Evo Anthrax. You know who was the equivalent of Tracy's mom in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure? It was Missy. It was Bill's mom, stepmom. Yeah. He keeps calling her Missy, and she makes him call her mom. Tracy, can't you see? You're not the girl for me. Whisper into your partner's ear. You forgot to pick up corn syrup. Especially when you've never put corn syrup on any list for the store before. Yes, the best way to spice up your life in the bedroom is to have sexual intercourse. I agree, Morridge. So very seductively approach the side of the bed, take a strand of her hair, and begin to floss in a very sensual fashion. That is so sexy. My ex told me a story about his old girl in which that happened. I don't want to hear that story from my new significant other, right? I definitely don't want to hear that story. If I'm going out with somebody new and they go, let me tell you a story about poop stuck to my butt hairs. No, I don't want to hear that story. I definitely don't. One of the tips should be discuss the possibility of new growths on either you or your partner. Hey, is that a new mole? Ew, this pimple is really turning into a boil here. Brush your partner's teeth with maple syrup. That's very essential. The viscosity of the maple syrup really turns people on. Super glue your faces together. For real intimacy, you need to super glue your faces together. That's sexy. Hey, so if anybody in my relationship is going to need to blow dry their hair, it's me. Okay? You think this stuff dries itself? No. This is the most water absorbent hair you're ever gonna find. A little pat on the ball sack once in a while helps us feel loved and appreciated. I agree. You know, I like my significant other to be deeply, deeply familiarized with the crotchal region. I don't want to pee on my mate. That's silly. Why would I want to pee on Rachel? Then she'd smell like pee. Who wants their significant other to smell like pee? Nobody. Certainly not me. Don't pee on your partner, or else they'll smell like pee. And swiftly apply your foot to her bottom. She'll sure get a kick out of it. Pa, 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 pa. Well, you can mark your territory by rubbing your junk all over her. You need to pee on her. Shape ornate shapes. Have a intricate scrolling contest using pubes and razor as your medium. Intricate scrolling. I think you're some lady who's gone all out. She's got this incredible filigree pattern pube arrangement with bedazzled sparkle things in little gaps. In the little gaps, indeed. So anyway, how to make anyone love you? We're getting a little bit off topic here. How do you make anyone love you? You look them in the eyes and say, you better love me right now, or else. That's how you make anybody love you. All you got to do is you got to position them in such a way that they're leveraged so hard they have no choice but to obey you and love you. That's how you create real, lasting love. Guilt, shame, terrorizing people. These are the strategies of love. Plug her nostrils whenever she tries to have a serious conversation is a great suggestion. Oh, aren't you cute? Will you stop, Joe? I'm serious. I know. Go on. Anyway, man. Stop it there! Instead of whispering to your pregnant wife's belly, have her whisper to your semen, aka future child. Well, I mean, I think one way to spice up your bedroom life is to whisper at her uterus, you know, give it instructions. Speak to every part of the inside of the woman. Say, listen, I'm gonna try to pull out. But if any of my sperms go up there, you ovum, get out your plate mail armor. I don't want any of you guys fertilizing. You don't get fertilized by anything, okay? Uterus, get ready. Here comes some dick. That's how you. How did you know that whispering to my balls was good luck, Gunner? I thought I kept that secret. Give him a concert, a summer rave, pool party. Pool party is one way to spice things up in the bedroom. Pizza party. Forget pool party, pizza party. How to spice things up in the bedroom. 10 tips to drive your man wild in bed. Number 10, pizza party. Number 9, stick a toothbrush in your ear. Smart, email anthrax. I like your thinking. Sprinkle your condom with some hot sauce to spice things up. That would be spicy. Probably not very comfortable. What time is it? 12:35. It's getting pretty late. Late-ish. The biggest problem with the time right now is that yes. Connor, good idea. If your man still has his foreskin, one way you can delight and amaze him. Have him wake up one morning and it's gone. You called the rabbi, you brought him over while your man was asleep. He took the hatchet and chopped that thing off. No nipple extensions, okay? Put false eyelashes on your eyebrows instead of on your eyelashes. That would be one way you can mix it up a bit. Instead of dressing in sexy lingerie, dress in the most difficult to take off clothes you can find. Make it a contest. Hi, Nathan Long. Okay. If you're a woman and you want to spice things up in the bedroom, you want to wear something that is like has so many buttons, latches, zippers, and other accoutrements to keep it from coming off of you. It takes the man 45 minutes to take it off. Ethan, that's not indicative of a TI user necessarily. I'm a TI user, I'm a TI second, and I determined I was ENTP immediately and haven't ever wavered about it ever since. Oof, says Lawnmower. Did somebody punch you in the stomach? In the Batman cartoon, if somebody gets punched in the stomach, it elicits an oof. Whereas if somebody gets punched in the face, it's more likely to be a bow, pow, or whatever. You know, there's a lot of world out there. Not a lot of superpowers. Get playful in the bedroom. Pretend to be a ghost. When she tries talking to you, just become. What's that word where you're immaterial? Become more immaterial. You prefer when Batman's fist says Zark? How often does it say Zark? Is that a common one? I'm not sure. Stare at her from outside the window. Not a bad idea. Accuse her of shoplifting. That's a good idea, right? If you want to really spice things up with your lady in bed, accuse her of shoplifting in the middle of sex. I didn't want to pick this up right now, but you're a shoplifter. What? Don't you try to tell me that kills the mood. You know that I get off on that. as soon as your woman is, starting to climax, when she's getting close, start making bird calls, What are you doing? Nothing. There was a bird outside. There was a whippoorwill. Whippoorwill. That's the sound whippoorwills make, Andy. You should know that. You are a bird expert like me, As soon as you ejaculate, stand up and go, glad I'm never going to have to do that again. Glad phew. If I ever have to do that again, it's once too many. After a session of love making, confess about your summer European fling with Fabio. There is one thing I haven't told you. People tend to have a problem with it. But Vladimir Putin, the Russian president? He's my ex. Yeah, I know. People feel threatened by him and stuff, but he's actually not a nice guy. He was really not cool to me. He was always telling me, put on a jacket, your arms look fat. I was like, what are you talking about, Putin? Once both parties get naked, then the man points to the woman and say, in a taunting fashion, I've got a bigger penis than you. Like that. Put a turn on a woman. During sex, yell, Mom, can you bring us some drinks? We're thirsty. Take turns pretending to be the Japanese girl. When she gets on top of you, tell her she feels heavier than last time. What is this, Neptune? Am I at 2 G's or something? Or have you been pounding the pudding? Squeeze a bag of pudding above her head during coitus? You mean like squeeze it up like in a fountain of pudding? Spilling all over the place? I don't know about that. Yeah, but they're not actually scared or in pain, Annie. It's just a normal heterosexual dynamic manifest in a specific weird Japanesey way. Because it's all, at the end of the day, it's all about the brutishness of masculinity defiling the precious innocence of womanhood with its penis. That's what heterosexuality is. Squeeze it till it pops. That applies to many things in intimate relationships. Hopefully not my head. It's not an opinion on gender. It's an opinion on sex. The thing that people make the mistake of doing all the time is they think that because men and women, when they have sexual intercourse with each other, there's a power dynamic to it. It's like the man is the hunter in that capacity, the one who's going to stab the woman with something, and she's the recipient of being stabbed. It's implicit to the act. And most people have some sort of like dominant submission thing going on there. The woman likes to feel manhandled a little bit in some fashion, right? The male likes to feel as though, um, he's having his way with her, right? So it's implicit to it, but it shouldn't be generalized outside of the bedroom. That's the whole point of sex, is it gives us a place where we can safely play those kind of power dynamic games without it actually creating any real power dynamics. So it's not like after you're done having sex, you should behave in the same like frame of reference as you are when you're actually having sex. That's silly. I like to tell my woman that I need to close my eyes during sex so I can't stand looking at her ugly shit. Yeah, I'm sure there are some people who would be turned on by that. Anthrax. There are people who want to be insulted during sex. Like, you are dumb. I've seen plenty of hentai where the woman did the stabbing. Yeah, well, they do all kinds of crazy stuff in hentai. Those girls in hentai really like to violate the boundaries of their bodily integrity. Ew, yeah, call now. Call now. Girls are waiting to talk to you now. Call now. We're waiting. Party line. You guys want to call a party line? Back in the day, they used to have those, Are you lonely? Would you like to talk to hot young girls? Call now. We're waiting. Like, who calls that? Who thinks, oh, I know, I'll call that number and talk to those chicks right there. They want to talk to me, obviously. Look at how they're talking. We're waiting. They're waiting for me. I gotta call them, of course. Hey, girls, how's it going? Yeah, I saw your ad on TV. What do you mean there's a bunch of dudes here? No girls in this chat line? Hello? Julie? Kimberly? Anybody? Hello? Sweetie, would you mind if I just put that big portrait of your mom over our bed, just attached to the ceiling? Is that cool with you? You be on top, okay? All the time from now on. I never want to be on top anymore. Now that that's there. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I nut in like 30 seconds now. There's nothing I can do about it. And your mom, she makes me bust. I called it when I was a teenager. Talked to a girl for a few minutes while she was trying to put up an ad to sell her apartment. I would call the sex line. And was the ad to sell her apartment part of your fetish? Okay, so look, what you're going to do is you're going to pretend you're trying to sell your apartment. I'm going to pretend that I'm not really interested in it, but that I'm pretending to be interested in it in order to get somebody else at another location to lower the price. And then after that, you say, that's very naughty of you. And that's where, gets bawdy, gets exciting. I got in trouble when I was, 13 or 14. I called a recorded line many times. And the recorded line, it would say, hi, I'm Julie. What are you doing? I'm not wearing anything. Ooh, my big man. It's like that kind of stuff, right? And I racked up like a couple $100 worth of phone charges listening to this thing before the the day of reckoning arrived when the bill came and meh, and and then I didn't call after that. You call those a lot off your friend's phone. That's an expensive habit of yours there for your friends. I always work towards a fiercely loving relationships, Andy. So, like, when Email Anthrax's girlfriend says, I love you, Email Anthrax, he goes, not nearly fierce enough. It needs to be like this. Email Anthrax, I love you. That's a lot more fierce. Okay? A lot more fierce. You don't want a demure woman. You want a fierce woman. A woman who throws her love in your face like a baseball that breaks your nose, drives the shards of bone into your brain. Fiercer than that? I love you, damn it. I love you so much. Is that fierce? I'm not sure if I've got fierce down yet. I know it has to do with lions, right? Lions are fierce. Everybody knows that. They're the textbook definition of fierce is the lion. But I can't roar like a lion because that's where I draw the line. Okay? And then she's all like, you don't even know what you're doing? I said, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, I'm sorry, but you can't talk to me like that because that's where I draw the line. Give her a scratch and an Indian burn to show the fierceness of your love. Integrating Indian burns into your lovemaking is a real, and it's a whole rabbit hole of possibilities. There's a woman who makes a ton of money by pretending to be a dog online. I wonder if I could make a ton of money pretending to be a dog. I am a dog. Woof, woof, woof. I enjoy fetching things and eating from a bowl. Kibbles. I drink water and, bark, bark, so forth. There's a woman makes a ton of money by pretending to be a dog online. Is there somebody who pretends to be a cat? Maybe I shouldn't copy her exactly. Just sort of switch it up a bit. I can pretend to be a cat online. I can pretend to be a wildebeest or something. What's the submission that's appealing? I can make a lot of money selling Rachel's bathwater to subscribers. Yeah, well, I mean, if I wanted to exploit my girlfriend for making money, I'd stick her up on OnlyFans or something, But it's not my style. You're going to be a moose? I'll pretend to be a moose. I could do that too. We could be competing meese. You be a moose, and I'll be a bison. I'll pretend to be a bison. Have you seen the e-girls? What are the e-girls? The e-girls. Search Google for the e-girls. E-girls are a Japanese collective girl group. There's a lot of them in this picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Are they like the Spice Girls, but Japanese and with 11 instead of 5? Stalkers will commence. Yeah. if I were single, I don't know if I would be comfortable with that or not. It seems like, well, what the fuck do I care? You know, it's like if somebody wants to see naked pictures of me, and they're gonna give me money for it. I mean, why anybody would ever want to do that? But of course, I'm not a hot chick. If I were a hot chick, then it makes sense. Everybody wants to see pictures of hot chicks. I see the appeal of like if you have a YouTuber that you like who's a pretty girl or something, and all of a sudden she says, "Now look, I got this OnlyFans account." I can see the appeal of being like, this chick that I've watched for all this time with her clothes on, I can now look at her take her clothes off. I get the general concept of that being like kind of neat in a way that is not, it makes it something more than just pure raw simpiness. What sounds almost racist? King Krishna Sarma Bagu does? I don't think so. Sex Addicts sues Twitch for $25 million. Does that actually happen? Or are you just saying it might happen? I rebuke this thought culture in simple market. I don't care what they say. Neither should you. You are the hottest chick in the world. Don't let anyone say otherwise. Thanks, other self. That's what I'm thinking too. I bet if I were to go on OnlyFans, I'd make more money than any of the other hot chicks on OnlyFans. You know, it's taken years to cultivate these wrinkles. You embrace thought culture. I don't think about it much, one way or the other. That's the whole point of that being in a relationship. You don't have to think about that kind of stuff so much anymore. You know where you are getting your vagina from. You're getting it from that one lying next to you. She'll spread those legs apart and say, come on in. Why? Because she's your girlfriend. It's better than trying to find a bunch of chicks, mostly unsuccessfully. You know, they don't necessarily want to put out right away unless you want to be like that kind of person yourself. And then, I mean, you can find it's like if you treat sex like your drug, then you can certainly find other people who treat it like that, and meow. But if you're not chasing debauchery like that, then probably you're gonna discover that it's not a way of being that makes you feel pretty good. My guess. Ham needs roast. You are being educated. Fear of slavery. I really hate chemical in my ham. What chemical? Is it Roundup? Sex is a that's one of the unfortunate things about sex. When you are having sex, it's some of the most golden joke making time imaginable. But you never get any audience except for one person. You know, it's like I want other people to enjoy my hilarious sex jokes. Of course, they don't get to because sex is an intimate act between two people where there's touching and stuff. Fondling, jostling, fingerings, fiddlings, dwaldens. Dwaldify your dwaldens, as they say, in the sexuality business. Is it just from the motion of the sex, or are you having sex on a boat? Took a drink of Bales. What's Bales? You can pay your taxes now? Took a drink of Bales. No, I mean, the kind of playful, jokes that one makes in a intimate couple probably isn't going to make it into porn very much. Idea, lay down comedy. Two naked people are going to town to do a comedy routine in front of the crowd. They lie down on the stage and that's it. So what you're saying is sex is just lie down stand-up comedy for two? Lie down comedy for two? It's not just comedy. Hopefully there are some moments of your sexual intercourse that are a little bit more serious. I usually find that's the case for me. I'm tired. I guess I'm going to go to bed. I'm feeling well. See, that's the ideal basic concept of heterosexual intercourse is that you don't necessarily want to have sex with her, but it's for her own good. She has to learn, and she's ashamed of herself for needing to learn, but secretly you just can't get enough. That's the basic dynamic there. I'm so ashamed. I'm such a slut. Give me more. You should be ashamed of yourself for letting me have sex with you. Yeah, exactly. It's like breaking a horse. We're coming along well in your training. Not a sentence that goes over very well in my current relationship. Let me tell you. It doesn't go over well. It's a little frustrating, you know? Time to do your chores. Doesn't go over well. Why not? I don't know why not. It's like, INFJ fussiness, I guess. So you have to have a whole separate set of rules for sexual intercourse and regular life, obviously. They don't go together very well. Because of course that's the paradox implicit. I don't want Rachel to actually think it's a chore, or to actually feel as though it were a chore. I just like to refer to it as such. For her, not for me, of course. Well, INFJs are not high maintenance at all. Actually, I don't find Rachel remotely high maintenance. I do find her sometimes fussy in surprising places. That's a good way to put it. Deep into the act, and she's got no idea anything's unusual. In fact, nothing is unusual, but just surprise her by saying, "Oh, this is so great. Next time I'm going to use my penis." She'll say, "What are you using now?" What, this old thing? And hold up like an eggplant or something. Hold up a sock puppet. What, this old thing? Yeah, as your balls deep. Go. Next time, we're going to go all the way. As the girl's blowing you, say, that counts as sodomy, which means your mouth is an asshole. See how that plays. Also, another good thing to whisper in her ear during the middle of sex is, your library books are overdue. And then pause in the thrusting for a second. Wait for a response. What? Oh, nothing. I could have sworn I returned those. No. You left Deathly Hollows behind. As soon as you're done ejaculating, go, well, I guess I've used you all up now. That's my partner. I like to tell her your sister does it better. No, that's rude, email anthrax. You should just say, hey, do you think you could do this a little bit more like your sister? Or even your mom. Because they're both, I don't mean to be criticizing or anything, but they're both better at this than you. Ooh, discharge. Let me collect that. Oh, this is a gross live stream tonight, huh? No. I was again, I got to be more play. Hey, it was great. I mean, look, neither of us is ever going to be Uncle Jimbo, but it was good. What kind of project are you working on, Annie? I finished my project. I uploaded my song. Pretty happy with myself for finishing that project. It's like, there you go, Eric. You got something done. You were pretty in eye attentive throughout the whole process, too, which is good. Excellent. My spawn has been implanted. What? Translating a channeled entity. It turns out the whole time he was just saying, "Is this thing on? Can you guys hear me?" But in Transylvania. Like how to be, an ontological waste dump. I'm embarrassed for you because your sexual performance was so subpar. It's like, if somebody would ever say that to another person, I would just be like, wow. Did you always have this? And point to just a general torso. Did you always have this part? I don't remember that. A gay psycho stalked you in the middle of the night last night? Here, have a drink. I'll mix it where you can't see. To do a photo shooting, huh? Ooh la la. Ooh to the Liza la 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 la. Another thing you could do is in the middle of having sex with a woman, you could sing some Bob Dylan. You go, "You make love just like a woman." That's a compliment. She'd like that, I'm sure. Everybody likes a little Dylan mid-coitus. Hit her over the head with a beer bottle. Gently, though, not too hard, okay? Look, if you really want to woo a woman, you got to just gently hit her over the head with a beer bottle. Not too hard. Don't break the bottle. He constructed a whole reality with fake events and people. Was there a Super Bowl? Was Abraham Lincoln there? During sex, only a man knows how to make a man feel good. Only another man really understands me. Stone Age style, right? Yeah. I don't think even in the Stone Age, probably chicks enjoyed being hit on the head. It's like, do you have to concuss me? Can't you just punch me in the face or something? Eric is a dumbass. What possibly could I have done this time, Cloud, to incur that status? Being a dumbass, Eric, that's what. I believe Will Smith said that while being massaged by a man, red flag. Defeat her in a sword fight. Prove the chivalry is not dead. I could totally beat you if we were Lansing right now. You got violated. Did you go to the person's house? He was just talking to you, right? By the internet? I don't understand how you lose your innocence in that fashion. I didn't know you were that innocent, Cloud. You've not heard that men have penises before? Neanderthal lobotomy. He started me on the street in the middle of the night. Well, I mean, what are you, you lost your spiritual innocence? Cloud, man up. Don't worry about it. Cloud, I have your spiritual innocence here. You just left it in my house. It's not lost. Nobody stole it. It's right over there. Did it really bother you that much? That he wanted to have sexual intercourse with you? Jada cheated on Will Smith. Yeah, I knew there was some sort of cheating going on in that relationship. It sounds to me when I looked into it a little bit the other day, actually, that Will Smith was cool in the whole thing, and then she was kind of not. He told us he would make you perfect models. Okay, well, did you not want to do that? No, so you said no, right? It was an entanglement, not cheating. An entanglement, huh? So ridiculous. Well, and he gave some interview where he said basically, I had to stop feeling like I was responsible for her happiness. She sounds like a big complainer. She's always complaining about something. So, ridiculous is the right word for it. Okay, I'm going to put this link to this song again, and I'll play it one more time, and then I'm going to end the stream after that because I'm tired, and, I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed, I guess. Texting secrets men can't resist. That's a YouTube video title. Texting secrets men can't resist. 30,000 days. Strange many expectations. Not even worth a damn. 30,000 nights to seek out the intoxication. Otherwise, you won't escape the plan. I wasted half my days trying on another's way. But who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody who's the key? 'Cause I'm tired of doing it alone. What direction I follow? For sure. Wait until I know. Or is that just hesitation? Clarity's no good once your chance is gone. What I need to show is it's so below my station. I'm tired of doing it wrong. I wasted half my days trying on others' ways. Who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody knows the key? 'Cause I think I'm doing this wrong. 'Cause I think I'm doing this wrong. Doing this wrong. Well, Cloud, but why would you think those elves are more trustworthy about reality than a human being, for example? After all, those elves are just hallucinations from your own brain, whereas other people actually have separate agency and can communicate meaningfully. One Direction is going to copyright my lyrics. Hopefully not. The Bible was actually written by the Akatsuki, the villain organization in Naruto. It was primarily Deidre who was responsible for it, interestingly, but Sasori had a role in it as well. Anyhow, good night, everybody. Go to Samaria, read the Sumerian texts, live them, love them, learn them with all of your heart. Good night, and don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. The black gods have no name, they're just an experience. We are made in their image. They blended everything, so too do we. The black gods matter? Do black gods matter too? Wow. I didn't know. I didn't know gods had races. Goodbye, everybody.